And for Anthony and for everyone who's going to talk today.
I'm not important, don't worry.
But he's important, trust me, he is something important to talk about. Alright, so it's nice to see you all coming in again. I can see two people who aren't here from last meeting. And not cool. Not cool, that's all I gotta say. So we're going to start off with Anthony. He's going to give us a brief rundown of what's happening this Saturday, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's about it. Enjoy pizza, by the way.
Cool. So hello everyone. I'm Anthony Danza. I'm president for NAU Esports here at NAU. Might be wondering why I'm coming to talk to ACM about us. It's because we're your sister club. We work really closely with Joseph to kind of set up everything up. You guys have all the equipment, the switches, the Ethernet cords, and everything that we need. We were also founded with you guys, and now we're getting pulled out by the end of the month. But wanted to keep you guys updated with everything that's going on. So this weekend, this Saturday, we'll be having a LAN event in the engineering building, room 101, 10 a.m., 10 p.m. Don't have to stay the entire time, of course. It's just we like having, we will have a civilization game starting pretty early, probably run the entire time.
It might last longer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we'll have a bunch of games out there for sure. We'll have Overwatch, League of Legends, Rock Band, and Super Smash Bros. Like 100%, those will be there. We'll be having tournaments throughout the day. With prizes. We get sponsored by TESPA, which is a collegiate sponsorship company. It's kind of hard to explain, but they send us gifts. If you can see, oh man, I should have put that up. There's a big photo of all the stuff we got last semester. It's super hype, a lot of fun. We'll have like 3v3 Overwatch tournaments, 1v1s, 3v3 League, Rocket League, PUBG, really whatever you guys, like whoever's there, that's what we'll be doing. Yeah, so that's that. That's happening this weekend. Feel free to show up anytime, leave anytime. I also wanted to talk generally about the club. I don't know if anyone here is interested or knows people that are interested, but currently we are running Overwatch, League of Legends, Rainbow Six Siege, Heroes of the Storm, and Counter-Strike. We have at least one full team for them. Overwatch currently has 4, League of Legends has 3, the rest have 1. We compete in tournaments throughout the semester and over the summer. For instance, Overwatch has a tournament the last 2 years we competed in. Didn't do amazing, we didn't do awful, but the top prize is $8,000 per student. Usually won by UC Berkeley, but we'll see next year. Esports in general, collegiate, has been growing, and it's something we're trying to break into. ASU has been a strong competitor, like a strong founder for all of this, and they have been working with them along with GCU to get up and running. We're looking to expand into Hearthstone, Rocket League, Dota 2, PUBG, and pretty much any other game. Right now, I just found out we have a Rock Band player at NAU who is #1 ranked in the world. Found that out. So, pretty much, if you guys, yeah, it's like, apparently there was some big cheating scandals. We got bumped from like #4 to #1. And I'm like, here we go. Yes.
What system is Rock Band on? Because I have like 8 Rock Band games for Wii.
Yeah, the guy I know plays it on PS4.
Okay.
I mean, he's really the only one I know at NAU. If you want to start a Wii one, again, we'll take an application.
I could like bring my Wii or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to bring your Wii stuff, we'll have the PS4 stuff 100%.
Okay.
So you don't feel like you have to, but if you want to, I mean, we won't say no. It's just it'll be on you to make sure everything stays.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Yeah, but like I said, we're looking to expand into other games. Siege, Heroes of the Storm, and Siege and Heroes of the Storm are like brand new. Started this week, so we're constantly expanding, trying to grow. Yeah, that's pretty much that. I just want to give basic contact information for me. I'll write out my email and my phone number on the right board over here to the right. Yeah, so that's my email. We also have Facebook. That's kind of generally where I post general stuff for NAU Esports specifically. And then Instagram, we'll have photos. Twitter, we'll have snarky comments. And we have an official NAU Esports Twitch page where we'll have people be streaming. Trying to get an exact schedule down. We're looking Thursday through Sunday, kind of 8 hours a day. We have a bunch of people who are interested in just promoting their own channels. Feel free to watch, feel free to come out. And then we have individual Discords for every game. I can't really post that up here, but if you email me, I can get you into contact with any of those. if any of you are interested. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I'm gonna write like I said, my email and my phone number. But beyond that, unless anyone has any questions, cool. You guys are done. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. So I would definitely go to this, by the way. You don't have to go for the whole time. Go for 2 hours. Do whatever you want. I went when I was a freshman. I'm probably going to go to the upcoming ones. So cool. Have fun. If you show up.
Really quick,
I'll
did
destroy
nobody get the sign-in sheet?
Here.
Someone sign the sign-in? There you go. Nice.
What is drawn on the back?
220 notes. Yeah.
So now we're going to have Joseph come up here. Yes, no?
What's your name again?
My name's Tanner Massahos, by the way.
Who are you?
ACM president.
Wait, why do we need
Joseph
you?
come up here, and he's going to talk about some web development stuff. And after that, we're going to do a t-shirt design contest. So get your creative juices flowing. Winner gets a free t-shirt, which will be their t-shirt that they designed. So we're going to vote on that, and we'll see what we can make happen. Cool. Now, here's Joseph.
Hello everyone, my name is Joseph Remy, I'm the Vice President. Today, I'm just going to talk about web development in general, nothing really too specific. I'm just here really as a resource to you guys. If you guys want to know more about web development, I've been doing it for 3 years and I'll talk about that more as we go through the presentation. It's just a short and sweet kind of introduction just to see how you guys kind of like this or not. So yeah, web development, tags, styles, and scripts. And then there's my plug, right here. Go to that website. It's pretty important to me. It's important to you as well, But yeah, let's get started. So who am I? I'm 21 years old. I was born in Flagstaff and raised in Sedona for the most part, and then I moved up here to attend NAU to get a majoring in computer science with a minor in mathematics. I started web development about 3 years ago because I started as an internship in my senior year of high school. And just as a fun fact, my first program was made in 2008, and it was a Flash game. And the software I used was Macromedia 8, which was in 2006. And then another fun fact was just I graduated from Yavapai Community College before I actually graduated from high school. So that was pretty cool. It's stressful, but it was pretty good. So just in general, what is web development? So the core concept, at least in my eyes, is just translating and transcribing ideas, mock-ups, just concepts, etc., into functional websites. Maybe they're lively, maybe they're just some static thing, just something that's related to the World Wide Web. So they have the visible aspects, obviously. So everything they see, the broken BB Learn page with the double login button for some reason, and the front page of Reddit is all done in core, just through HTML hypertext markup language. And then all the images, videos, and styling is done with CSS or just raw HTML. And then the front end, obviously, you have scripts like JavaScripts and plugins that people make, like Adobe Flash, and then the back end you have a web server database and all the fun stuff that goes with it. So why web development? So to me, it's very accessible. You can do it for multiple platforms. Here you see the NAU ACM website. At the top left, you see a mobile version. At the bottom, you see what it looked like on an iPad. And the top right, you see what it just looks like on a normal 1080p monitor. So you can deploy one site or one version of the site to multiple devices in one responsive flow. It's really easy. So that's one of the newer things that came about within the last few years. Yes, Tanner?
Who made this?
Not me. It was Tanner. He contracted it out to me.
I made this website, by the way. Super awesome.
Yeah, and we'll look into it more. Maybe we'll try breaking it or something, but yeah. Another thing is it's flexible. Web development isn't centered on, at core it has HTML, CSS, and JavaScript and all these things, but you can use different tools to deploy your website to make it, you can use frameworks and all sorts of crazy stuff. And there's a lot out there in web development. Some of it's a headache, but some of it's actually pretty fun. And then lastly, the biggest thing is just it's accommodating. You can have a social media website, you can do a finances or banking website, you can do all sorts of things, multimedia streaming, everything that you can do over the internet, you can do maybe as a website of some sort. And then how I kind of got started was I just started with simple HTML and Atom. And then I just started making random websites. I started duplicating websites. At one point I made the old version of I did the old school RuneScape homepage, just plain, just had to redo it because I was this might be fun and I might learn some stuff about how this worked. Another thing is just using inspect element on websites. It's so much fun to, at least in my eyes, to try to be like, okay, how many layers deep can I get before I get lost and confused in this website? Like, how many layers deep can I get into Facebook before I'm like, this is like 30 elements in, like what the heck are they doing? But yeah. And then obviously some easy tools to get started. I use ACM primarily just for development. You can do everything from file transfer protocol to basic HTML, and then of course like an email service if you want. At my work, we use ASP.NET with Visual Studio, and it's just a web suite of tools that lets you use everything from a database, email, finances, and it most importantly uses the model view controller, so you can manage like making like entities. Like an entity in a website could be like a blog post or a listing for a house or something like that. And with that backend, you could do a lot of powerful things. And then tons of different frameworks. Like the one I most recently found was Django, because I went to Hack Arizona and we decided to try to do some web development stuff. And it's just a Python-based model view controller. It's a lot of fun because you get, for a lot of you, I hope you've like been exposed to Python, and then you can actually start doing like crazy web stuff just using straight up Python, which is really cool. And yeah, I'm really here as a resource to you guys. If you have any questions, or if you want to email me, or we can talk web dev or whatever sort of CS technologies, I'm totally down. Cool. All good? Dinner?
Anyone here interested in web development?
All right. Have you guys taken CS 212 yet, or going to?
I'm taking 12 now.
Okay, nice. Same. Right, sweet. So yeah, if you ever need any help with that, I'm not sure who's teaching that now.
I'm taking it with Mohammed.
Muhammad, okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what he's covering, but if you ever need any help, totally reach out to me. I can totally help you out because I don't think it's too bad. And then, yeah. And then, Steven, you have a question?
I don't know if you have more slides about it, but I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about like the way that you got into it, web programming, and like what it is that you do, who you work for. And
Oof. Okay, let's see.
without
So-
breaking your contract, of course.
Oh no, so like, I guess, yeah, I should obviously talk about the place I work for. So I kind of skipped over it. I currently still work for Studio 5, which is a web development company based out of Sedona. It was originally started in the United Kingdom, but my boss brought it over after 20-ish years or so. And then the stem of that is a music ago. So I'll just go ahead and just kind of whatever the website directly, because you have multiple. So Studio 5, as I said, is located in Sedona. It's literally like across the street from my house almost. And I just somehow stumbled upon this company through a friend. And he was like, hey, I know you're pretty bright. I know you like computers. Would you like to try to do web development for this friend of mine? I was like, sure, sounds good to me. So I got to do it as an internship through my high school, so I got credit for it at first. So it was unpaid at that time. And then it just kind of grew on me. This is one of the websites I actually helped build. It's for the 25-year anniversary. And I just kind of started off with like really basic HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and then it moved up to like, okay, here, let's see if you could do C# and work on a MySQL server. I was like, okay, sure, sounds good to me. And I think from that it transpired to getting like paid and everything, and then eventually joining the team for Musica, which is like a social media network startup company. And yeah, and then I guess in my free time I just kind of screwed around. Like I said, I made like mock-ups of other websites that were already done, or like tried making my own thing. Like the ACM website was a pretty good practice into like, okay, how do you transition to doing responsive design and making everything flexible so it works on all resolutions. And that was pretty cool. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so in all your years of web development, which one has been your favorite project, I guess, you've done?
I mean, okay, I'm kind of torn. I think maybe it's because they're more recent, but I'm kind of torn between either the Hack Arizona website that we tried doing, because I never messed with like a framework like Django before, and I was like, this is really powerful stuff, because I've been always stuck in the rut with ASP.NET, and I haven't been exposed to other stuff, so that was pretty cool. And then the ACM website in general, because that was actually a stem off of my portfolio website that I was currently working at the time, which is currently shelved. And so I was like, all right, I'll just take all the stuff I'm currently learning from my portfolio site and just port it over to the ACM website, and it worked out pretty well. And that just used a lot of newer like technologies and kind of techniques to make it like responsive for at least as many profiles as I've tested. Like I don't even know if it works in Safari yet, but I'll let you know. Yeah, go ahead.
And for the ACM website, didn't you say that you wrote that without using like a framework? You did that in just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript.
Yeah, so the whole ACM website, we use PHP for the back end, but primarily it's all from scratch. There's nothing really, there's nothing copy pasted. There's nothing, no frameworks, no other stuff that I literally just had to code it straight up. So how that worked out is I did in plain HTML first, and then I ported it over to PHP. Yeah, go ahead.
What do you use as like resources and like tools to learn stuff? So if you're like trying to learn something new that you've never even had any exposure to, what would you use? Or do you just use like W3 schools?
Oof. Okay, so I think it goes for like any like sort of discipline in CS. It's like you can't be too trusting of the internet, obviously, and a lot of it is kind of just tinkering with it. But I do like at the core, I think I do find like. Let me try to think. So like, let's say I have to make something that my boss is like, hey, try to make this thing that we don't like have already on hand or haven't done before. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll come up with like some sort of ideas of how to approach it, and I'll do some sort of mock-ups. But if that doesn't work out, then I do eventually kind of go to the internet, see if someone's who's done something similar, and if I could kind of morph that into something that works. Cool. Eat.
So you're talking about how you're good at this web development stuff.
Uh-huh.
Do you have any internships or jobs set up for you to prove that?
No. Okay, so,
job, maybe?
so yeah, currently still I'm actually okay. How working the words. So I'm currently a contractor. I actually get 1099s for work for both Musigo, which I also hold a part, like I'm a shareholder of, and I also have a 1099 with Studio 5. So I get to do my own hours. I get to do it on my own time, wherever I want, as long as I have internet to upload the website or whatever. And then currently this summer, I got an internship to work for Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory in the Bay Area. So that'd be pretty cool. I'll be doing some web-related stuff in Python and trying to help them out.
That sounds exciting.
You want to show us some of the examples of your work of things that you've redesigned?
Oh, no.
For example, maybe like a website for like Renee's, the restaurant or something?
Ooh.
Who's Renee?
I like that idea. You know what? Let's go look at some websites. So, Remy Restaurant is down in Sedona. We got to work on their website. Hopefully, this monitor is high enough resolution. If not, we'll find out. Let me see. Oh no, they actually redesigned it yet again. Wow. Yeah, no, this is.
No, it looks a lot similar to when you redesigned it though.
Let me see. I am hunting it down. No, I don't know. Maybe they contracted it out with another company. I don't know. But this is definitely a lot different than we used to have it. So I guess I could use the Go Back engine, but I'm trying to think of another example then.
The ACM page.
No, the ACM page is used too much, but let's go ahead anyways. So obviously we're gonna change the banner out and update the website, but yeah.
Your CS412 or your CS212 project.
Got this done in 3 days.
If I can remember the URL, I
It's
would.
like dana.sethens.nau.edu.
Oh, no, you
Let's look at Tanner's
Yay! So this is one of the submissions I did for 212 when Pat was teaching it. I just was like, I was already working on this version, and I was like, okay, sure, I'll just morph into what I want. So then everything's like a little cutesy and whatnot. And then I just had all these little links and whatnot. And it was just like, okay, I made this panel first, and then I was just like, I don't want this portfolio website anymore because it's not responsive. And I kind of trashed it. But I was like, you know, I might as well use it for at least my 212 project, or at least a couple of things. So
Super
that's what I did.
stylized.
I'm trying to think of anyone else who has a cool website.
Show Tanner's.
Oh,
Please, for the love of God, show Tanner's.
won't appear.
I don't know if it'll work, but let's go ahead and try it.
Let's do it.
It's a tilde, yeah, okay. You already know, I guess.
No caps lock, or no lock.
Please
Sorry,
show
don't
up.
think
Oh,
you
it's not
would
gonna
lock.
show up. Thank you, boys.
Aw.
Did you remove it?
We can't embarrass the president. Aw.
So right now, what Tanner's website is doing, it's trying to connect to a personal database of mine, which is currently down, unfortunately, because the computer finally shot itself, because it's not enterprise grade, unfortunately. So I don't think it's going to actually load Tanner's website or anyone else's.
Rip in peace.
I don't know.
So sad.
It's a sad day because it was a pretty good website.
With picture.
Apparently in my honor or something. I don't know. But
Shrine?
shrine?
It was a shrine.
It was a shrine. There's a virtual shrine. Oh,
Very virtual.
Virtual shrine to Joseph Christ.
Joseph Christ.
Yeah, maybe we'll link it later or something
Yeah,
if it
great.
works.
Yeah.
So, you have his website on your database?
Yeah, so
What do you
like,
mean by that?
Oh, talk about the database.
okay, so, so let's see, there was like
Property
8 of
server.
us
Property
taking 212 at
servers.
the same time, so we were like, screw it, we're not gonna use NAU server, screw that. Oh,
Oh my god.
Look at the mouse.
There's a lot of notable stuff. Honestly, if you don't know, it's
Not
about
responsive to that, by the way.
And then I'm actually the cursor for the website as well. So if I mouse over what's it called, the link, it'll actually like do like a pointer action. It goes from like pointing to literally clicking.
Oh, like
down.
that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you know. That's,
Oh god, I don't even know if I can I get
So
to-
we're
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
remember, that's when Pat was professor.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. What do you think of that? Oh god.
Come again?
He was a fan, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah, Pat loved this website. And just a fun fact, because little do people know, Tanner actually made this edit in PowerPoint.
All my edits go in PowerPoint. I'm amazing.
Oh god,
No one else it.
The lion.
The sheep. God, I really don't remember.
Yeah, that's
Hard to believe
Twitter
that
down there.
Tanner was still
Oh
a
god, my
teenager.
Twitter. We don't
almost
go
a
to my
year
Twitter.
ago.
If you want to, the handle's right there, but I'm not gonna go to it. Oh god, who else did a cool website?
I did.
It's the one that has like a picture of Daniel on it, like it's like
Just
the
read it.
it's like the picture of the back of Daniel's head.
Mine's
Oh,
baller.
I can't remember.
Ooh, look, informed.
Wait, why is there a YouTube link?
Let's not click
Click
that.
it.
No.
Click it.
No,
Just
let's.
click it. It can't be that bad.
I'm not gonna trust. I'm not gonna trust
Malware.
Tanner's YouTube
Click
links.
it.
No.
Just click it. Click it.
I'm loving the access to
Okay,
Comic
the
Sans
icon
on
says
this.
YouTube. Oh
All
my
right.
gosh.
Fair enough.
YouTube. What a well-designed website.
Yeah,
I even got you as a.
I don't know. I guess I should at least try to, help my work out by showing off one of the websites I've been meeting. So let me go ahead and try to find that. But do you guys have any questions while I try looking for it?
Are there any books that you would recommend?
I don't read books. I'm sorry.
Traveler.
Okay, is that proper an industry standard? Probably not. But I haven't gotten to that point where I've had to. You know what I mean?
Just,
Even if I still read blog posts, I still look up stuff on the internet, but I don't properly go out and read books that people write. So I do follow certain people on web development, but nothing really specific.
spend 1 million hours on YouTube.
Can you explain the database?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you did.
Right. So yeah, before all that happened. So yeah,
Before
like
the whole thing
like
popped
8
up.
of us were doing CS 212 at the same time. So we were like, screw it, we don't want to use the one that they give us for Cephins. We were like, let's just have Joseph manage it. I'm like, yeah, sure, that sounds good to me, because it was easier to teach people in that regard how to use MySQL Workbench, how to write scripts, and some basic stuff in PHP, it was kind of crazy at the time, but it just helped get everyone on the same page. And we just was like, okay, here, you just open up MySQL Workbench, you just load the script, and then you can look at your database with the UI. They use PHP MyAdmin, which is a web interface, which is alright, but they were restricting it, you can only have one database, you couldn't do too many tables, and the calls had to be kind of interesting. But with mine, I was just like, screw it, just do whatever you want to the server. If you crash it, it's whatever, I can just reflash it or something. So it wasn't too big of a deal. And then we were a lot of, and I guess, yeah, going back to the core of that, it was just being able to upload scripts pretty easily, manage the database. And that's the software that we used for CS345 principal databases. We use MySQL Workbench all the time.
Wonderful piece of stuff.
Is there any other questions, comments, concerns, regrets?
Is there anything you can show us of what it looks like to build the website before it is actually a link?
Show us your source.
You can just go into inspect.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, so I'm
Your
just gonna
page
press,
source.
actually I guess, okay, I'm just gonna show it graphically here. So
F12. Oh my.
you can just go, in Chrome, you can just go up to the settings and go to more tools and then go to developer tools, or just press F12. And this will literally print out everything on the client side. So all the server stuff I can't show you directly, like the PHP, without having to try to remember my login to the Cephins server, but you can actually go through and be like, okay, how did Joseph get this image or whatever loaded? And he's like, oh, there's actually 2 images. I wonder why. And you're like, when you hover on and you see something flash, you're like, oh, okay, so there's 2 images layers. So one's like a darker version and one's a lighter version, so you know, like you highlighted or moused over it. And you can also be like, oh, where the heck did this element come from? You can inspect on that and be like, oh, it's the social label, and it's run by, it has some sort of style tag on it and stuff. That's usually how I just kind of go through the process of like, not saying if I duplicate another website, but if I am trying to like make a mock-up of something that they did that would look pretty cool, I do inspect it on it and try to figure out how they did it. Yeah. Any other questions? Cool. Well, thanks for your time, and we'll have Tanner come up next.
We need to update that image. That is not the most recent.
Yes, Janelle.
Who are you and what do you do?
Okay, I'm done with this question. Okay, so before we get into the real fun part of this whole meeting, I just want to tell you guys, next week, this time, same place, once again, we are having Olivia come in, and I'll pull up their website.
Yeah.
With my computer.
It's not a person, don't worry.
Yeah, it's
It's not a person yet.
Oh, wow. 10 out of 10. Captured on the live stream.
ACM professionalism.
Wait, what was it? Oh, you'll see later. You'll see later.
Olivia is a
Your
person.
idea? This is not my idea. Oh shit.
Wait,
Okay.
Olivia's coming here?
Yeah.
You want me to fix it?
How?
Oh,
Did you do that?
the company is coming here. Okay.
Does Julia know about this term?
So it's pretty easy to understand what's happening. I'm sorry for you guys all the way over there, by the way.
Do you want me to fix it?
Let's have the demo.
So she's an AI assistant, obsessed with improving, reinventing the candidate experience. So she's there for companies to hire. So they use, instead of like having a, Steven, is that correct?
Yeah, you want me to talk about it?
Yeah.
All right.
Go for it.
So
Oh, I'm doing something.
essentially, this company is up and coming. They're relatively new. For those of us that went to Hack Arizona, not this last time, but the year before, you might have gotten a shirt. This is Olivia. The idea behind it was that it's like an AI sort of bot that the company uses and sells out to other people. And it kind of goes through prospective candidates for jobs. So it interacts with you, it kind of learns about you as you're talking to it, and then it can filter it on and say, oh, this person is really good for the job. They have such and such skills. They've talked to me for this long and that. But it's entirely based on AI, and they do machine learning and all sorts of fun stuff. They told us, and they're probably going to talk more about it whenever they get here, but their work is like a dog-friendly place. So they just take their dogs to work and stuff too. So it's really cool. But yeah, they're relatively new. They are based in Scottsdale, but we have Mark Chesley coming up here to give a discussion about it. If not, next week, because he still needs to get back to me, but he said the 15th works for him. I'll let you guys know if anything changes, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be cool.
Cool. He knows a lot more about it than I do because he's in charge of talking to them all about that, getting them to come in. So thank you, Steven, for coming up here and selling it better than I ever could. And so they're used by these major companies, if you're wondering. So yeah, that's what's coming up. And now, okay. For now, we are going to do the t-shirt design contest. Okay? So here's how this works. Everyone open ears right now. Here's how this works. You design a t-shirt. You can use Microsoft Paint. You can use whiteboard. You can use the paper, which I will provide. And whoever comes up with the best shirt, that we'll all vote on.
Tonight?
I'll figure it out.
Can we use assembly?
Whoever comes up with the best shirt, that's
1 week, 2 weeks. 1 to 2 weeks?
1 to 2 weeks, yeah.
We'll vote online.
We'll figure it out. We'll vote online probably. I'll take photos and we'll vote online. And yeah, whoever comes with the best shirt, they get a free shirt. They get their own shirt. And then we'll probably make the shirts for whoever wants one of their shirts. So, also slightly, let's try to gear this towards like ACM, so some computer science type of thing. Just make it funny, make it unique, mildly appropriate, please. And
Mildly.
yeah. All right. If you guys need a piece of paper, I can pass it around right now. So raise your hand if you need a piece.
How long did you get?
Okay, true. Let's
30
seconds.
seconds.
Like about like 7:30. I'd imagine people want this over by 7:30. So have your paper to me by 7:30
Next week.
of now. Of today. Okay, so raise your hand if you need a piece of paper. If you already have all your stuff ready to go, that's cool too.
Is my life.
Thanks for watching.
I was right.
Thanks for watching.
Closing?
Yeah.
Broken?
Anyone else need a piece of paper?
Where's my paper?
I played a character.
I don't know.
I got it. It's back.
Don't think too hard about it. First,